A VPN, short for Virtual Private Network, is a privacy protection tool that is quickly becoming a must-have. But why do you need a VPN, and how does it work in the first place? A VPN helps your data travel through the internet safely, without big companies or cybercriminals being able to spy on your online activities. Also, a VPN swaps the real location of your device with a new one. This way, you can virtually travel to any country around the globe. So, who can benefit from a VPN? If you're worried about your online privacy, a VPN makes sure your identity and private information are not exposed when you go online. If digital security is your top priority, a VPN gives a nice additional layer of security. It encrypts your data so nobody could see what you send and receive. If you are a human rights activist whose freedom of speech is restricted, a VPN helps you to bypass censorship and speak to the world. Or, if you're on holiday in another country, with a VPN, you can bring your home entertainment anywhere you go. Here's a pro tip: check out Surfshark VPN. It has everything you need in a premium VPN, awesome speeds, and industry-leading protection that covers all of your devices. All you have to do is click connect. Secure your digital life and enjoy everything good that the internet has to offer with a VPN you can trust.
Click link in the description and get 81% discount for your first order. Distressing wood and laminate. Use chalky paint for your furniture. Chalky paint has a matte finish, goes on with minimal prep work, and is easier to scrape off while you're distressing your furniture. Choose a paint color that matches the aesthetic in the rest of your room. Chalky paint is not the same as chalkboard paint. Chalkboard paint is meant to be written on with chalk after it dries, while chalky paint just has an ultra matte finish. You can buy chalky paint from any painting supply store. Add dings and dents to the furniture surface for an extra distressed look. Adding marks to a table surface or furniture legs can make it seem older than what it actually is. Lightly tap your furniture with the end of a chisel or hammer to make indents in the surface. Make the marks random so it doesn't look like an intentional pattern. Wear safety glasses in case any wood accidentally breaks off your furniture. Experiment with different tools around your house to see what kind of marks they make. Sand the furniture if it has a finish on it. Use 120 grit sandpaper to roughen the surfaces on your piece of furniture. This helps the paint adhere better so it's less likely to peel off or chip. Make sure to sand any surface you plan on painting so you get a nice even coat. You do not need to sand unfinished wood furniture. Wipe the furniture with a damp cloth before painting. Wet a cleaning cloth with warm water and wring it out until it's damp. Wipe all of the surfaces you plan on painting to get rid of any dust or dirt that's on them. Use another cloth to dry any areas that are wet before you start. Apply a coat of paint and let it dry. Dip the ends of the bristles in your paint so there's only a small amount on your paintbrush. Paintbrush, paintbrush, paintbrush. Start from the top of your piece of furniture and work toward the bottom. Apply a thin layer of paint on the surface so it can dry fast and even. When you're finished with the first coat, leave it to dry overnight. It's okay if you still see the wood or laminate underneath your first coat of paint. This can help add to the distressed look of the final piece. Paint a second coat onto your furniture and leave it to cure for 3 minutes 4 days. Once the first coat of paint has dried completely, put another coat of paint on your piece. Again, work from the top of the furniture down toward the bottom, and paint until it has a smooth matte finish. When you're done, let it dry for 3 minutes 4 days so the paint has time to adhere to the furniture. Sand edges and common places of wear and tear with 120 grit sandpaper. Corners and edges are usually the first parts that wear away over time, so start by distressing them. Use 120 grit sandpaper to rub the dry paint off of the surface to expose the wood or laminate underneath. Apply light pressure so you don't accidentally remove more than you want. Add more distress marks where your furniture touches the floor so it looks like it's been scratched up after moving around a lot. Wipe any dust away with a damp rag. If you accidentally rub off too much of the paint, you may paint over the area again and start over. Seal the wood and paint with finishing wax. Wax acts as a sealant to help protect your furniture from any damage. Dip the end of a cheesecloth in the wax and spread it across the surface of your furniture. Work the wax into the surface in a circular motion until it's smooth. Continue waxing the entire piece of furniture so it's sealed. Furniture wax can be bought from your local hardware or paint supply stores. Wax may take up to 30 days to completely cure, but you can use the furniture after 1 week. Aging metal furniture. Wipe any dust and dirt off with a cleaning cloth. Get the end of a cleaning cloth damp with warm water. Make sure to clean off all of the surfaces that you're painting so the paint can adhere well to them. Dry off any spots that are still wet. Avoid sanding your metal since it will leave noticeable scratches. Paint 1 coat of chalky paint onto your furniture and let it dry. Buy a container of chalky paint and soft bristled paint brush from your local paint supply store. Dip the end of your brush into the paint and apply a thin layer to your metal furniture. Work from the top of the piece down toward the bottom until it's entirely covered in paint. Leave the paint to dry overnight so it has a chance to cure. Make sure not to use chalkboard paint instead of chalky paint. Chalky paint has a matte finish and is usually used for distressing, while chalkboard paint is meant to be written on once it's dry. It's okay if the first coat doesn't cover the metal evenly since it will make your piece look more distressed. Apply a second coat of paint and let it cure for 3 minutes 4 days. Once the first layer is completely dry, put on another coat of paint until your furniture has even color. Once all of the exposed metal is covered with paint, let it dry for 3 minutes 4 days so the paint has time to settle. Don't try to distress the metal while it's curing because the more paint may peel off of the metal than you want. Wipe areas with a damp cloth to distress them. Get the corner of a cleaning cloth wet and rub any areas where you want to expose the metal underneath the paint. Work around edges and corners since they are areas where distress naturally happens first. Apply light pressure to lift up the paint. If you accidentally remove too much paint, pat the area dry and cover the spot with another coat. Seal the paint with finishing wax to protect it. Dip the end of a cheesecloth in the finishing wax and pick up a small amount from the container. Rub the wax onto the paint in circular or back and forth motions until it's clear. Coat the entire piece of furniture so it's protected and won't get easily damaged. If your furniture feels waxy, keep buffing it out with a cloth until it doesn't.